Okay, so let me finish up with some of the grammar that I don't have videos for. This was probably in vocabulary at various stages and stuff that I've done, but you can talk about your marital status. You're getting, in this chapter, I've noticed that a lot of the activities deal with uses of ser. Probably next chapter is going to start dealing with star. They are both two verbs that translate to be, is, am, and are, but they're not used interchangeably. And I'm actually going to go ahead and give you a video along with this one that shows you the difference between ser and a star, so you can start looking at the uses of ser, and then I'll probably give the video to you again, upload it again in the week we start talking about a star. But anyway, ser and a star both get used with adjectives. Ser is usually used with descriptive adjectives, and a star is usually used with adjectives that describe a state or condition you're in. And when we're talking about marital status, I think that varies from country to country. In some Spanish-speaking countries, they will use ser, and they consider talking about your marital status as being a description, and others use it as a star because they consider it to be a state you're in. So either it could be both, so you can use them interchangeably. Soltero, that means no está casado, no, like yo estoy casada, tengo un marido, dun, 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 I'm married. So casado is used to describe someone who's married. Soltero es una persona que no está casado. So that's a person that's not married, they're single. Viudo is when su marido, su esposo, muere. So if your spouse dies, you're a viudo, viuda. Divorciado, I don't think it needs an explanation because it looks like it does in English. Divorce, or separado, otra vez, no necesita explicación because it looks like it does in English. You'll notice there's O/A's here. I'm going to give you a video that talks about adjective agreement in Spanish. They like to make the adjectives agree with the nouns that the adjective is used to describe. So you'll find, so if I describe myself as being single, yo soy soltera, but a boy would be soltero. And if there's two women who are single, like a group of friends, they'd be solteras. And so I'll have a video that explains all of that. I'm not really sure why they put this out here, but they're just saying, you know, this is Pedro, comma, a friend. These are Juan and Anna, some friends. So I don't know, I guess just reminding you about the indefinite article, un, una, unos, unas. Okay, so let me pull up one more thing. Okay, actually, I guess two things. Up here, they ask you how you can ask people about what their job is. You could say, ¿a qué se dedica usted? ¿A qué te dedicas? Or ¿qué haces? These are two different ways. I mean, the one that's / ¿a qué se dedica usted? ¿A qué te dedicas? Remember, that's just formal versus informal, and then ¿qué haces? And then you can use the verb trabajo if you work. Trabajo en una empresa de información. Like una empresa de informática. I work in a computer company. Or estudio en la universidad. I study. You could also say soy estudiante, which is what they've got down here. Soy arquitecto. So you could say I work in, I study in, or I am, and list your profession. They also mention that a lot of professions, because professions can be held by both men and women, that there often tends to be a male and a female spelling. And then they've got over here in variable form, and that basically means that for a girl, ella es periodista, y for a boy, he's also periodista. So that means that these guys right here, this is their spelling for both boys and girls. Same spelling for both males and females. Okay. However, over here they'll show you that a lot of these you either change the O to an A, or change the E to an A, or you just add an A on the end. So profesor would be a male professor. Yo soy profesora. Vendedor, vendedora. Médico, médica. Abogado, abogada. Presidente, presidenta. Another of invariable forms, I've got a video that will explain to you nationalities and places of origin. Most nationalities, no matter what they end in, even these adjectives of nationality, they always have a feminine form, because there's one of the videos that I'll send to you about adjectives tells you that adjectives, if they end in something other than O, you tend not to worry about feminine, you just worry about gender, you don't worry about gender, you just worry about number. So if I had two adjectives, if I had the adjective bueno to describe a teacher and the adjective inteligente, here, inteligente and bueno, if I have the adjectives inteligente and bueno, if I have a male professor, he's a profesor bueno, and he's a, let me make this bigger. Whoops. He is a profesor bueno, and he is a profesor inteligente, okay? And if I have a profesora, she's a profesora buena, but she's also a profesora inteligente. I don't worry about, I can't add an A. So when an adjective ends in O, you worry about gender, but when it doesn't end in O, you don't worry about gender. You just worry about number. So if I had a profesores buenos, and then profesores inteligentes, profesoras buenas, buenas profesoras inteligentes. So when you have adjectives, most of the time you don't worry about making them feminine if they end in something other than O. However, for adjectives of nationality, you do. It doesn't matter if it ends in O, or if it ends in E, or if it ends in R, you are going to have a feminine form, except for a few. And these are the forms of adjectives that you don't have a feminine and masculine form for. Whoops, I didn't do that right. Okay, so these forms have the same nationality spelling used for both men and women. You don't worry about gender, just number. And when I say number, I mean making it singular or plural, okay? So hopefully that explains some of the topics that my videos won't get to.